I know it's only 6:33 a.m. in the morning in the East Coast of the US, but we have a lot of stuff to cover today. And I just gotta do a little more volume calibration because today we're going to cover four pieces of news, specifically gaming news. First, we're going to cover how Spider-Man 2 became the fastest selling PlayStation Studios game. Second, we gotta talk about Super Mario Bros. Wonder and how good that game is. Third, we're gonna talk about the new Suika game update, as you can see over there. And four, we're going to talk about the disappointment that is City Skylines 2. So, without further ado, we're going to launch Suika game, and we have a new update. Now, I had to do volume calibration because this game is still too loud, even after the update. So, the game is now in other languages. So, right now we have Japanese, but you also have English, Simplified Chinese, Traditional Chinese, and Korean. So, that's the first major change. The second major change for this update is that since Halloween is less than a week away, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Halloween is less than a week away, you can press the R button at the title screen to change the theme. And without further ado, we're going to... Oh, hold on. Sorry. I thought I stepped on some copper wire. And yes, stepping on copper wire is painful. So now we're going to sort the fruits. Now I'm a little bit rusty at this game because I haven't played it in a long while, especially since I've been playing a lot of Super Mario Bros. Wonder lately. Now you can see that the watermelon that you were aiming for has been replaced with a pumpkin. But it feels so strange playing this game in English. Okay, now I just have to, yeah, the fruits are popping like usual. I'm sure we're gonna have a Christmas event this a year or something for this game. Okay, we got Peach. Another Peach. Okay, it's not budging. Now I have to sort the grapes. Oh yeah, we should also cover how Spider-Man 2 for the PS5 has actually sold pretty well. Because in the first 24 hours of the game released, more than 2.5 million copies were sold. Which made it the fastest selling PlayStation Studios game ever made. However, I'm still critical of Sony when it comes to matters such as the neglect of the Japanese gaming market, as well as the PlayStation Portal, and how the implementation of that device might not be, like, really good compared to, like, existing options on the market. what I mean by not really good is that, okay, for now I'll show you where I got the information for Spider-Man 2. I'm gonna mute the game audio, and I'm going to open up a window capture, just not this one. What's it, number 4? Okay, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is the fastest selling PlayStation Studios game by IGN. Now, take what I say from this article with a grain of salt because of the fact that I don't really trust IGN, but we'll read through it anyway. Spider-Man 2 has enjoyed huge sales success, becoming the fastest selling PlayStation Studios game over a single period. Insominac's PlayStation 5 exclusive sold through more than 2.5 million copies in 24 hours, according to Sony. That figure includes pre-order sales of individual units and units bundles with the PS5. However, the special edition of the Spider-Man 2 special edition of the PS5 wasn't that great because it's just console covers and a themed controller, and that's it. But it did take over the new God of War game at the top of the PlayStation Day 1 launch sales chart. So we won't go out over any of the spoilers or anything. But we also have some other news to cover, which is Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Let me just move the window a little bit. It's been getting very positive reviews from both critics and users and players alike, with 93 out of 100 on Metacritic, and it's a must-play game. And, and with a Metascore of 93 from critics and universal acclaim by a 9.1 user score out of 10. So in other games, the new Mario game is wonderful. You see what I did there? Okay. Enough of that. Let's continue playing Suika game. Okay, now we're going to drop it down here. I spent a little too much time talking about gaming news or something. We also gotta talk about City Skylines 2 and how it's the new SimCity 2013. I'll talk about my personal experience first, then we'll go to the article. So after I got home from university classes yesterday, which I only take like one university class, which meets twice every week. So I went up and played City Skylines 2, but at the menu, I could already experience performance issues. That game is so poorly optimized. Like, I've heard reports of people having the most powerful gaming GPU on the market, which is the RTX 4090, and still only get less than 60 frames per second. There's also the problem that it looks like a PS3 game. From like, I don't know, the mid to late PS3 era. Although, even though Cold Steel came out in the late PS3 era, it still looked more like a early PS2 game. But the story and music made up for it. And we're gonna talk about City Skylines 2 after we finish up this game, which might result in a game over. Alright, let's see. It's trying to fit through, but it's not going through. everything's starting to hang like a suspension bridge. Oh yeah, by the way, I did some research on the internet, and it said that if you combine 2 watermelons, they disappear. Or 2 pumpkins in this case. Okay, now we have to, let's see. We blocked the cherry's path. This won't be good. Okay, we did swim it down a little bit. Almost there. At the top, unfortunately. Okay, we might get game over soon. At least how things are going right now. Uh-oh. It's over. Okay, so now we're going to talk about City Skylines 2 and how disappointing that game is. So, I'm going to close out Suika game and stay on the home menu of this of the Switch. So why City Skylines 2 the new SimCity 2013? Well, I did some research, and as it stands right now, City Skylines 2 is poorly optimized, and it runs worse than its predecessor. This predecessor was meant to displace SimCity 2013, but City Skylines 2 feels like SimCity 2013 because there's like it does not run smoothly on PC. It freezes, there are long load times, and there's problems with all the details and textures. There's even Paradox even put out an optimization guide when it first came out because the game runs like shit. And not just that, but well, let's go over the optimization guide. Yeah, but they had plans of a patch and and improve performance, but you could have just delayed the game like Nintendo did with Tears of the Kingdom. SimCity 2013 was criticized to having an always online requirement. Now, consider the time period that SimCity 2013 came in. The Snowden revelations were being released, and Edward Snowden moved to the Russian Federation. This is in no way an endorsement of the Russian Federation, but a sad story of how you had to flee from one surveillance heavy country to another surveillance heavy country because of, I don't know. Let's continue. There were server issues at launch with SimCity 2013. Players were unable to like start the game. But however, the system requirements for City Skylines 2 and performance issues have a similar barrier to entry. whereas the original game ran very smoothly and easily almost on every PC, was representing an accessible alternative SimCities. 2013. So let's check the system requirements and put this in review mode. Now they did bump up the system requirements shortly before launch, because you need to have at least an AMD Ryzen 2600X and a GTX 780. Now, if this was 2021, you'd have to pay. You had to take out like a student loan just to get a GPU. So, but you really need some really powerful processors or something. Now, you need a Ryzen 7 5800X. They mistyped as Ryzen 5 here, but even though I have a Ryzen 5 5700X, it does not meet the recommended specs. And you also need an RTX 3080. I have RTX 3060. And to comment on one of my viewers comments about Snowden, no, this is I withdrew all my support for the Russian Federation because of another certain geopolitical conflict going on right now. So, and then you also have, it demands a lot from your setup, and they say guaranteed a performance boost, but it still runs like ass. I need to get my point across, so I'm sorry for the profanity here. And the City Skylines 2 game size is 50 gigabytes, which is a substantial increase over the 4 gigabytes required by its predecessor, but it's still relatively small compared to many new releases. But I recommend using an SSD when playing this game because this game has some massive storage issues. Now, City Skylines 1 actually requires 20 gigabytes now with the DLC and all that stuff. So it's such a big barrier to entry. So my advice is, if you want to play City Skylines 2, just get the first game instead. The first game runs better. it it has a lot more modding support, and it probably will run on almost any PC made within the last like 6 years or something. So, long story short, I do not recommend City Skylines 2. Now, ironically, another game that relies heavily on the GPU, which is Transport Fever 2, it runs so much better on even my GTX 1060 when I was playing with that game like 2 years ago when GPU prices were at an all-time high. So, yeah, not a good look for Colossal Order or Paradox. And paying $50 to $60 on this game on City Skylines 2, which doesn't even run properly, is not acceptable. So, long story short, City Skylines 2 was overhyped by the publisher and developers, but it runs like shit. Just like every other PC game we know of nowadays. Forspoken, uh, Stargate, Hogwarts Legacy, like if the, if the PC gaming industry continues like this, then the market will crash like it did 40 years ago. Why hasn't the market crashed yet?